Welcome to SWIRL AI Search, the podcast that dives deep into the world of enterprise AI search. Discover how to unlock the value hidden within your internal data and accelerate your journey to actionable insights. Let's cut through the noise and find out how you can get the most out of your internal information. As befitting a podcast about AI, this episode was created with the help of Notebook LM. Please enjoy the Swirl AI Search podcast.
Okay, have you ever been searching for something on your computer and you just can't find it?
Oh, all the time.
It's like the worst, right? And you know it's in there somewhere.
You know what I think is even worse?
What's that?
When you know it's in there, but you have absolutely no idea what it was called or who sent it to you. Like, it's just gone.
Oh, totally. That's like next level frustration. And it feels like it's happening more and more these days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. We're creating more data than ever before.
It's true. I feel like I'm drowning in emails, documents, photos, everything.
Yeah.
But so there's got to be a better way, right? There's got to be some way to get a handle on all this information.
Well, actually, there might be.
Really? Tell me more. What is it?
Metadata. It's kind of like a secret weapon when it comes to searching.
Metadata. Okay, so I've heard that term before, but I'm not totally sure I understand what it is.
Well, think of it like this. It's like the DNA of your data.
DNA. That's a good analogy.
It describes what the data is, like where it came from, who created it, when it was created, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I get that it exists, but how does metadata actually help me, actually find stuff?
Well, for years, metadata has been this kind of untapped resource.
Untapped. How so?
Well, we knew it was there, right? We knew it was important, but we haven't really had the tools to really use it to its full potential. Until now, that is.
Okay, you've got my attention. What's changed?
AI. AI is changing everything.
Hmm.
We can now use AI to unlock the power of metadata.
AI, that's interesting. I mean, we hear about it everywhere these days, so I can definitely see how it could be applied here too. But can you give me an example, like a real world example of how this works?
Sure. Let's say you're a financial analyst
Okay, I can imagine that.
and you're trying to find a specific report. Maybe it's about company performance last quarter,
All right, in there.
and you just remember a few keywords, but you type those in and you just get bombarded with all these irrelevant results.
Ugh, the worst happens to me all the time. So frustrating.
Right. But with an AI-powered tool that can actually read and understand metadata, you could search for all reports created by your team during that specific time period. Or you could even narrow it down to reports that contain specific financial metrics.
Okay, so instead of relying on just keywords, I can search using all these other criteria.
Right. And you would find what you need in seconds.
Wow, that sounds amazing, I have to say. But wouldn't that require someone to go in and manually create all this metadata for every single file? I mean, wouldn't that be a huge task?
Well, that's the cool thing about AI. There's this company called SWIRL. They've developed an AI profiler that can actually automatically extract this metadata from all sorts of different sources.
Hold on, so it can just figure out this metadata on its own?
Pretty much, yeah. Like documents, emails, spreadsheets, you name it. And it can even get metadata from images and videos.
Wait, images and videos too. So I can search for a video based on, say, when it was filmed?
Exactly. It can identify things like who created the content, when it was created, and even what the content is about.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like magic.
It's pretty close, I guess. But it's not magic, it's AI. And it's changing how we think about searching and finding information.
So the Swirl AI profiler, it sounds like a total game changer.
I think so. I mean, think about it. It can totally transform the way we interact with information, how we find what we need, and how we make decisions.
I'm sold. Tell me more.
Well, one of the coolest things about it is that it can even identify the sentiment of a document,
The sentiment. What do you mean by that?
like the emotional tone. So you could search for, say, customer reviews that express positive sentiment or contracts that indicate a high risk of litigation, just based on the language used.
Wait, AI can understand emotions now. That seems incredibly advanced.
It is. But AI is evolving at an incredible pace, and this is one of the really exciting new areas. It's all about teaching machines to understand not just the words we use, but also the emotions behind them.
I see. So you could search for angry emails or happy customer reviews. That's super interesting. But okay, so let's say we have all this metadata. What happens next? How do I actually use it?
Well, that's where Swirl's intelligent search capabilities come in. It goes beyond simply matching keywords. Instead, it lets you search by context.
Context, what do you mean?
So you can search for documents based on, the document type, the author, date range, location, and even the relationship between different pieces of information.
So if I was looking for a contract, I could search for all contracts created by, say, a specific person within a certain date range that mention a particular clause.
Exactly. And because AI is constantly analyzing your data and uncovering these hidden connections, you might even discover things that you didn't even know you were looking for.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just about finding what you need, it's about like making new discoveries.
Exactly. And that's just scratching the surface of what's possible with AI and metadata.
Okay, I am officially fascinated. So where do we go from here? That's incredible, honestly. It's like having this AI assistant that can sift through mountains of data and connect the dots for you.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it doesn't even stop there.
Right.
I mean, what's even more impressive is that this SWIRL system doesn't even require you to move your data to a new platform.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just seamlessly integrates with your existing system, so there's, no disruption, no big migration or anything.
Okay, that's a big plus, especially for, for companies that are already kind of juggling all these different systems and databases.
Right.
But what about security?
Mm,
Metadata itself can contain really sensitive information, right?
yeah.
So we don't want just anyone having access to that.
You're absolutely right. Security is, it's paramount, and that's why Swirl has a security-first approach.
Okay,
Their system respects your existing security protocols.
got it.
So it makes sure that users only see the metadata that they're authorized to see.
Right.
So it's all about empowering users with these more efficient search capabilities while still maintaining, the highest levels of security and compliance.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about like the real world impact of all this. Can you give me some concrete examples of how this AI powered metadata analysis is being used today?
Sure. Let's take the example of a legal team that's preparing for, some complex litigation.
Yeah. Okay.
And they have to go through thousands of documents, emails, contracts to try to find, those key pieces of evidence.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Right. And traditionally, this would involve, a whole team of paralegals just spending hours and hours going through each and every document manually.
Yeah, I can see how AI could really speed things up there.
Exactly. With AI Profiler, that legal team could search for documents based on keywords, dates, authors, even the legal concepts that are mentioned in the documents.
Okay, so they could like instantly surface all the contracts signed by, I don't know, a particular individual or all emails related to a certain project, stuff like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So instead of spending, I don't know, weeks, months even on document review, they could maybe accomplish that same task in a matter of days.
Yeah, potentially.
That's a huge efficiency gain.
Yeah, and that kind of time savings obviously can translate into real cost savings for businesses,
For sure.
but it's not just about efficiency.
Hmm.
AI-powered metadata analysis can also help us uncover insights that would be, really impossible to find using those traditional methods.
Give me an example. How can metadata reveal those hidden insights?
Okay, well, imagine a leasing company that wants to kind of understand, like, what are the factors that drive lease renewals?
Okay.
They could use AI Profiler to analyze the metadata from thousands of lease agreements.
Right.
And they could look for patterns and correlations.
What kind of patterns would they be looking for in that case?
Well, they could look at things like lease terms, rental rates, property types, tenant demographics, even the sentiment that's expressed in, communication with tenants.
Oh, interesting.
So they could see, well, maybe tenants in this particular demographic are more likely to renew if they're offered certain amenities, or that tenants who are expressing, positive sentiment in email communication are more likely to stay on long term.
So it's almost like they're suddenly seeing their business from, a whole new perspective.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And that's the power of, this AI-powered metadata analysis.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding information faster. It's about understanding, like really understanding your data and using that knowledge to make better decisions, to optimize processes, and ultimately to drive those better business outcomes.
So it's not just about search.
Right.
It's about understanding.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond that simple information retrieval to true knowledge discovery. And, this is just the beginning.
Really?
So as AI technology keeps advancing, we can expect even more innovative applications of metadata in the coming years. Well, imagine a world where we can instantly search our personal memories, access the collective knowledge of humanity, or, maybe even predict the future based on the patterns that are hidden within data.
It's kind of mind-blowing, right? To think we might be on the verge of a real information revolution, and it's all thanks to this often hidden layer of data.
Yeah, I know it's crazy to think about how much potential is really hidden within all of the data that we create. And I think it's a reason to be optimistic, especially for anyone who's feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all the information overload these days.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's not about drowning in data, it's about learning to swim in it, right?
Exactly. And this AI-powered metadata analysis is like having a life preserver.
I like that.
It helps us, navigate this vast ocean of information and really find the treasures that are most valuable to us.
This has been such an insightful conversation. I feel like I have a much better understanding of metadata now, its importance, the role AI is playing, the potential it has.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I really hope our listeners are feeling, maybe inspired to go out and explore some of these tools and think about how they can use metadata in their own work, in their lives even.
Absolutely. Before we wrap things up, though, I want to leave our listeners with a question.
Okay.
If we can unlock so much value from the metadata that's attached to our, files or documents, what about the metadata that we're generating in our daily lives?
Hmm.
Our online activity, our location data, our social interactions. I mean, all of that leaves a digital trail.
That's a really interesting point. It does raise a lot of questions,
Yeah.
right? About privacy, about security, about the ethical implications of all of this data that we're generating.
Yeah.
But I think it also presents an incredible opportunity.
Oh. How so?
Well, to understand human behavior better,
Hmm.
to maybe predict trends and to even solve some of the world's biggest problems, right?
It's a lot to think about, right? I mean, the sheer volume of data that we're generating every single day, it's kind of staggering.
It really is.
But if we can learn to harness that data,
Hmm.
responsibly, ethically, it seems like the possibilities are really limitless.
Absolutely. I think it's a really exciting time to be alive, and I'm really eager to see what the future holds, for metadata, for AI, and for really this ongoing quest for knowledge, right?
Well, that brings us to the end of today's deep dive.
Yeah.
We've explored this hidden world of metadata and its power to transform how we find information and really the incredible potential of AI to unlock even deeper insights. And so thank you all for joining us on this journey, and we hope you learned something new. We hope you've sparked your curiosity, and maybe you're even feeling a little bit more optimistic about navigating this ever-expanding universe of data.
Absolutely. Until next time, happy searching, everyone.